Well, good afternoon to all. Welcome to the IBM Case Management Lunch and Learn. The title of this Lunch and Learn has got change. Learn how IBM Case Manager can increase your agility from deployment to optimal performance. Hopefully this is the presentation you were hoping to be on. If not, please stay. Introductions, I'd like to welcome IBM Case Management series of Lunch and Learns. Today's interview is with Image Process Design, also known as IPD in the marketplace. So the subject of the interview today is Got Change, and how IBM Case Manager can increase your agility from deployment to optimal performance. So the structure for today will be a 20-minute interview, and we're going to allow 10 minutes of questions from the audience at the end. And I recommend that you use same time, and if you're online right now, you can see that there is a person registered called AAA Questions for Nick. That's me. Please use that to submit questions directly to me during the interview. And if we have time at the end, I've already had some submitted beforehand, we will get to them. And if we can't get to them during the conference, during the interview, myself or someone from IPD will get back in touch with you. So the goal today is to give you information from an IBM ValueNet partner, which is IPD, on their experiences with advanced case management and the IBM Case Manager solution. And of course, I have put this disclaimer in the at the end. We will ask you for the next meeting, of course. We have to do that, right? So a little background on IPD. IPD is a 20-year IBM business partner. They deliver highly responsive case-based solutions for mission-critical processes of leading organizations across the United States and Canada. They have won the Pioneer Award in recognition of its early adopter role in contribution in helping shape the IBM case management solution. And IPD offers a wide range of solutions and services designed to fully realize the value of advanced case management. Our guest today from IPD is Gary Kay, the COO. Gary, are you there?
I am, Nick.
Well, I'm glad because we're interviewing you, right? So, and also Doak Wilford, Senior Manager. Doak, are you there?
I'm here as well.
Thank you very much. And my name is Nick Sable. I am the Case Management Sales Leader and Program Manager for the East IMT, and in IBM speak, that's the eastern half of the United States. So welcome all. With that, we're going to, we have a slide on the screen now that we will use as just the backdrop, and we'll get into the interview questions right now. So thank you all for attending. Gary, I'm going to put out the first question to you. You hear a lot of marketing information lately on the topic of case management. What makes IBM Case Manager unique over other offerings in the marketplace?
Well, Nick, I mean, we were really excited about IBM Case Manager. In fact, really believe that it provides a unique ability to bring together all of the capabilities essential for advanced case management. When you think about it, it brings to bear business rules management, structured workflow, has the ability to handle ad hoc and unstructured workflow, analytics, and importantly, content. And in our experience, most every human-centric workflow contains some combination of both structured and unstructured data. And by coupling IBM's Case Manager with an ECM platform, IBM is able to provide seamless integration for all of the necessary components, resulting in an offering that's truly difficult to match by the competition.
Well, that was great. I'll stick with you, Gary. What are some of the more critical factors that determine whether a case manager is the correct technology fit as opposed to, say, traditional ECM or BPM?
So if you think about traditional ECM and BPM processes, they tend to be highly structured and transaction-oriented. They're also commonly associated with high volume and in some cases short-lived processes, and may involve some type of initiating event, perhaps the receipt of a document, something to kind of kick things off. The business benefits from these types of applications are commonly derived from decreasing cycle times or enforcing business rules and in providing management visibility and control over a process. And common use cases for a BPM, ECM application might include something like accounts payable or employee onboarding, healthcare, claims processing. Case management applications extend far beyond traditional ECM or BPM applications. In addition to ECM or BPM functionality that I just mentioned, case management applications can also effectively support processes where transactions are lower in volume, but perhaps higher in business value and complexity. The life of a case and its associated transactions may extend for months or even years in some cases. The business rules for processing these types of transactions can be very difficult, if not impossible, to reflect in a process map or even in a rules engine. In these cases, a knowledge worker needs to determine the required tasks and information required to complete a case action in an ad hoc fashion. And with case management solutions, features that enable collaboration, decision support, and auditability are critical to the success of an application. Some examples of use cases for advanced case management include life insurance underwriting, fraud investigation, dispute resolution, and disability claims processing. We found that when looking at prospective case management use cases, it really pays to ask some pretty probing and specific questions. Questions like, are the outcomes goal-oriented, and do they really rely on people to make decisions? Do the processes require information and data from multiple sources and systems? Is it difficult to compile and aggregate all of the information required to make a decision? Do workers need to collaborate with specialists or perhaps external partners in the process? Do workers have difficulty sifting through all of the information associated with the case to determine what the appropriate next step or action should be? Is the environment rapidly changing, where benefits may be gained from empowering business owners to manage that change? And then, is process flexibility a driver? Will the system rapidly and regularly adjust to accommodate changing business needs or requirements, perhaps dictated by outside pressures, including competition or perhaps regulatory requirements?
Well, Gary, those are interesting questions to ask an account, and very interesting results out of that. I have a question now for Doug. Doug, how does IBM's ICM product or case management product facilitate change and agility?
We really feel like the whole platform does, throughout, both after a system goes live and throughout the development process as well. One of the things we take advantage of in our delivery process is the whole mashup and widget environments. What we like about that is that, we can quickly demonstrate functioning software to end users. And the nice thing about it is once you do have a solution up and running, you can turn it over to a business analyst or an end user to maintain it going forward. So it's easy to add tasks or new data elements or documents and so forth without having to, say, get into the guts of a complex process now. We really like the fact that iLog is included now. It allows us to take some of the business rules surrounding not just how things get routed through the process, but we can externalize those business rules for doing things like scoring the complexity of a transaction, ensuring it gets distributed to the appropriate roles. And again, that's a new, it's not a new software product, but it's a new capability that's been added on top of ECM that allows the business to maintain and modify those rules as needed. And then on the back end of the process, you get a light version of Cognos for doing case analytics. You can do content analytics as well. A nice thing about that is that gives management visibility into the process to make intelligent decisions about how to optimize an existing process.
Well, that's great. I'm going to stick with you on this question, Doug. How would you, or how do you demonstrate the value of IBM Case Manager to a non-technical audience?
I mean, in our experience, I mean, to really show the business value of ACM, you need to be working with the end users. You know, they typically hold the purse strings. These are, you know, still, you know, often very complex solutions to implement, and you really need to show them, you know, how it's going to improve their, you know, day-to-day life and how they're doing their jobs is going to be simpler. So we spend a lot of time interviewing the end user, the knowledge workers, the case managers, and so forth. And it's not just to figure out, you know, where does the work come from or where does it go when they're done. The workflows actually tend to be simpler in ACM, I think, than the traditional sort of transaction-oriented BPM applications. Where we focus a lot of our attention is how to improve their jobs at the desktop. You know, making sure that they've got access to all the appropriate information they need to make a decision, that they're not wasting time trying to figure out the status of the case. And that, you know, some of these can be complex, right? There may be dozens of documents associated with a case, and just sort of figuring out where you left off last sometimes can be difficult. And we also focus on making sure that the decisions that they make are auditable. A lot of times you need to be able to come back later and show what information was available at that point in time and what information they used to make, you know, their decision to, you know, underwrite a life insurance policy, for example.
I'm going to stick with one more question for Doak. It's concerning implementing ACM. So how is implementing IBM Case Manager different from implementing a traditional BPM solution?
Okay, well, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, in my mind, a big difference is that a traditional BPM application, it's all about, you know, directing work to the right user at the right time. It's about automating the flow of work through a structured process. That's less of the, I mean, still a focus, but I mean, it's less of the issue with ACM. Like I mentioned, the workflows tend to be simpler, but the upfront distribution of work and how work gets scored and making sure you get it to the appropriate case manager is probably the most critical part of the workflows. And then again, once you've got it to a case manager, right, you know, throughput isn't necessarily the issue, right? A case, you know, like a disability claim, long-term disability, right, that case may be open for years. What's important is to make sure they understand the status of that case, that you're presenting the documents that are relevant to the case at that point in time, so that the case manager has the tools they need to make a decision and you know, trigger whatever other processes need to take place.
So, I have another question, Doak or Gary. This one was sent to me the other day, actually, upon notice of the meeting. Can I implement a case management solution on top of my existing P8 or BPM infrastructure without purchasing Case Manager?
Yeah, I mean, I can fill that one if you want, Nick. You can. I mean, we've been delivering case management solutions for years on top of the, you know, the traditional P8, BPM infrastructure, but the question I have is sort of why would you now that ACM is involved? I mean, we can typically implement a case management solution in a matter of months rather than, you know, some of these took years to do. Some of the things that ACM does for you that we used to have to, you know, develop via customization is one, the fact, you know, it can monitor, say, a parent-child relationship. I might have one case but it's associated with multiple claims, for example, and each one of those claims has its own process that it needs to go through. Managing all of that and presenting all of that can be tough, but you get that out of the box with ACM. But probably the most ingenious aspect of it, I think, is that a case is actually an object within the content engine now. And what that means is that we don't have to worry about how to maintain all of that history, assemble the structures for filing documents and so forth. All of that is managed and recorded within the content engine and is available for auditability and so forth. And again, like I mentioned before, tools like iLog make it much easier to do create decision support type features just by configuring a software product rather than doing customization.
Great. We're getting down there in time, so I have a couple more questions I'd like to lob out. Doug, with Case Manager, can business users modify their case management process without IT support? That must came from a business user.
Yeah, to a much greater, there's still some things you're going to want a technical person to configure, but I think with the whole mashup environment and the tool set with ACM, it's much easier to do that. Like I mentioned earlier, typically you're going to have somebody that understands PA and ACM do the initial setup of a solution and the case types within it. But if you do your job right, you can externalize from the workflows common rules or parameter settings that an end user may want to modify. Right? If there's like a certain amount that would trigger something going to a senior underwriter versus a junior underwriter, right? You don't want that embedded deep in a process map or something. Make that a parameter that they can update either in CE or a rule somewhere, again, in iLog that they can manage. So yeah, I think that's one of the big selling points of ICM is that, yeah, you can turn these over to end users and business analysts to maintain going forward.
Well, great. I have some questions that have been lobbed into me. I'd like to ask them. I have one for Gary. Are there any use cases that go across all verticals where Case Manager is a super good fit for no matter where you're at?
Looking at it, Nick, I think one that we can all agree on is that one of the best horizontal applications for advanced case management is automating the customer call center. So as many are aware, that's typically where a case begins, with the customer service rep taking in initial information related to a case, perhaps requesting additional information from the customer, and then ultimately accessing other sources of information, possibly a CRM, to gather additional corporate data, and then routing the case to the appropriate knowledge workers for continued action, hopefully leading to resolution. And through that case's life cycle, that customer service rep is going to probably receive inquiries from that customer, and that's where I think advanced case management really shines in providing the tools and the means for that CSR to access a case, quickly get to the information that they need to answer or fulfill a customer's request. You see call centers in just about every industry, thinking about government, insurance, financial services, retail, and manufacturing, just to name a few.
Thanks, Gary. I have another question that came in. It was long, but let me see if I can get through it. It says, my company is heavily invested in PA and very satisfied. Good. I understand the advantage of additional case management capabilities, but would not want to have to rebuild what we already have. So if we upgrade to Case Manager, will we be forced to migrate data or redesign our existing PA solution? So, Joe, you want to run with that one?
Sure. Yeah, and that's a good question. And in fact, we're often looking at integrating an ACM solution into an existing environment. One use case we see quite often is that, the case managers need a full-blown ACM solution, but maybe they need to route transactions, say, to a financial specialist or a nurse for medical review, and they already participate in other workflows and have applications for doing that. Well, you can implement that quite easily so that casual users or people that still participate in the overall process but have a specific task to do can still respond and participate in an overall ACM solution and using the tools that they already have in place.
Well, that's good. We have a couple more. Let's see if we can get through them. And if I run long, please, I apologize. We started a couple minutes late. Let's see. Well, here's one. This is an interesting one. So how can I experience Case Manager without a huge investment in infrastructure, hardware, software upgrades? Do you have a cloud-type offering?
I'll field that one, Nick.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things that we've noticed is that many of our customers and prospects have met with sales reps, have attended a proof of technology event, became much more comfortable and began the early learning, but then kind of wanted additional time on the technology. Many clients have recently completed upgrades and they may not have the technology present or the investment ready to go to continue their learning and hands-on experience. And one of the things that we at IPD have created is an advanced case management cloud-based offering really designed to provide that additional hands-on experience with the IBM Case Manager product. This environment is facilitated by an IPD technical resource and really takes advantage of a series of IPD templates of various use cases to provide additional experience and accelerate that learning. And we found that it really provides a great way to get up to speed, explore the benefits of advanced case management while greatly reducing risk and potential expense. We also offer ICM technical assistance for those that are still interested in learning more specifically how does ICM fit in my environment. In those cases, we typically bring to bear some of our architects and our technology leaders to make them available to current and prospective customers.
Well, great, Gary. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to try to move to the next slide here. Let's see if my system is going to allow me to do that. Yes, it is. There it is. So we're going to wrap up today's interview with IPD. Gary, would you like to just say a few things to, it says wrap up, so why don't you do a little wrap up for us?
All right, thanks. Well, first, thanks, Nick, for allowing us to join you on today's call. We'd welcome the opportunity to speak with interested participants following today's call. If you're attending next month's Information on Demand conference in Las Vegas, please make plans to see us. We'll be demonstrating a number of case management solutions in the kiosks. We will be there the entire time period. We're also excited about the benefits offered by ICM. As an early adopter, IPD has gained significant experience working with IBM Case Manager, and we welcome the opportunity to assist you realize the benefits available.
Thank you, Gary. So with that, I'm going to take care of the rest here. You've taken the first step. You've attended this interview. What's next? Your IBM rep is going to ask you to take the next step. So whether you take Gary up on his offers for free advice or maybe, which has become very popular, a case management discovery and configuration workshop, a BVA investigation, which is business value assessment, a solution demonstration, which I highly recommend because when you see it live, you get it. Your people will get it. Your line of business folks will get it. Your end users will get it. So that's a very important step. Take that next step. Schedule time to review your needs with your IBM rep and IPD, and this is all at no charge. If you have more questions, please reach out to your IBM representative. myself, Nick Sable, or Gary Kay. Gary and Doug, thank you very much for attending the Lunch and Learn session, and with that, we'll call it a wrap. I'll leave the contact information of Gary up for a little bit so that if you want to write that down, you may. Thank you all for joining. Have a great week.